know my new theme on the show. This market is getting increasingly difficult to satisfy. I want you to consider the case of Proofpoint. It's a cloud-based cybersecurity company that you know I've liked for ages. Last week, Proofpoint reported a phenomenal 15-cent earnings beat. Yes, 15-cent earnings beat off a 15-cent basis. Sales came in higher than expected, up a whopping 40% year over year. Management raised their full-year guidance pretty much across the board. However, because the forecast for next quarter was somewhat in line and the full-year forecast was only raised a little, not a lot, investors turned on the stock and it quickly lost 5% of its value. I got to wonder, doesn't a high-quality company like this deserve a little more benefit of the doubt considering the growth that we've got here? Let's take a closer look with Gary Steele, CEO of Proofpoint, to find out more about the quarter and where his company's headed. Mr. Steele, welcome back to Mad Money.
Hey,
good to see you, Gary. Have a seat. Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right, Gary, I'm going right to it. Page 6 of your conference call. Your CFO says, as a reminder, given the many moving parts associated with this, considering the new acquisition activity provided, guys, all I'm saying is that when your CFO says there's a lot of moving parts, I think people misunderstand. But isn't what matters the incredible demand for your product and the cash flow?
That's right. I think we're focused on the right thing, which is great growth with great cash flow. And I think that balance has been well received by investors, and we think that that focus will deliver tremendous value.
When I looked at the big wins, and you're talking about, because of confidentiality, of course, you're not going to say, but you won a 92,000 user portion, a Fortune 500 healthcare company, 60,000 one. Then you got another Fortune 500, 21,000 for your privacy. These are gigantic wins for your company.
No, they're big, important strategic wins. And, you know, we focus on the Global 2000. These are companies that have real issues, and we're helping them solve those cybersecurity problems.
But doesn't everyone have real issues if you're talking about 80% of the companies have been hit?
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, if you actually look at the stats, we just published what we call the Human Factor Report that documents a lot of these stats, but over 80% of organizations surveyed had experienced an email fraud attack. This is pervasive. It's a problem, and as a result of that, it's one of the reasons we're growing the rate we are.
Last time I saw you had just bought Wombat, which I know teaches people, also makes it so you can test without having to have another company be the blue team and the red team. Yeah. Are people attracted to that?
We've seen tremendous demand in a very short period of time. We've only owned it now for 2 months, but people are raising their hands. They want this capability. And I think they recognize that because users are being attacked, they want to raise the awareness of their users.
Now, you put together a consortium, Palo Alto Networks, which you know we love. We have them all the time. Good stock yesterday, too, in a down tape. CyberArk, Imperva, we know them, and Splunk, one of our Cloud King favorites. Now, this cobbled together is actually become the team that people want in the business.
Yeah, we recognized early that this ecosystem of vendors is critical that we integrate so that when customers buy our products, it all works better together. And we're not putting it back on the customer to figure out how to wire all these things independently.
But if they hire you, do you suggest that they take the suite, which would include Splunk, say, and a Palo Alto?
You know, we obviously are very friendly to those partners, and we try to refer them in.
You're a nice man, but you poked the bear. One of the first things you said is, what's the long-term catalyst? The shift to Microsoft Office 365. If I'm Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, I read that and I say, you know what? They're not even $1 billion company. I'm going to put them down. I am going to come up with something better than Proofpoint. Don't you risk that when you go right after them like that?
I think the reality is today, with this broad shift to the cloud, with the broad shift to Office 365, it's been a tremendous catalyst for our business. And while Microsoft does have a set of capabilities, people are looking for the best, and that's what we offer.
Okay, now let's talk about what I'm trying to figure out in terms of the billings as being more important. Then this is something I always go through with this. You know, people say billings versus the revenue growth rate, and I thought the billings were extraordinary, but the analysts didn't seem to understand how good the billings were. Can you just walk us through and tell us why that's so important?
Yeah. So billings are obviously a precursor to revenue, and what is important about our billings is our short duration of contracts. So because we have a great renewal rate, and we don't want to offer discounts for longer-term contracts, we've driven duration down. And so we saw the lowest duration ever in this last quarter. So we think that is a great feature for shareholders.
And could you tell our viewers exactly what they shouldn't be doing with their email and what you have to train whole organizations not to do?
It's very simple. You have to be thoughtful about what you click on, and you have to be thoughtful about what documents you open, because 80% of malicious messages have ransomware or some form of banking Trojan.
It's just incredible.
It's crazy.
Well, you've got the greatest demand of any product I know, which is why we've been consistently behind your stock. I think it was wrong that it was down. That's Gary Steele, CEO of Proofpoint. I'm going to reiterate, it was wrong that it was down. It was just hard to understand. Mad Money's back after the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.